All right, so you guys don't want to miss this one. We're going to go into Breakpoint Day 2 and really dive into merchant payments and what this might mean for the blockchain ecosystem, especially around Solana. It's going to be a good one. Do not miss this one. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into TechPath. I want to thank our sponsor, and that is Tangem. If you guys are looking at going into self-custody, which you should be, if you're holding any crypto on an exchange right now, don't. Get it into a self-custody wallet. Tangem is a great place to start. Jump over to their website. A couple of things you can kind of use within the website itself. If you've never used a self-custody wallet like this before, it's a card and an app. It makes it really sleek in terms of functionality. 3 minutes for a setup. I mean, it literally is that fast to set this up on activation. There's no other keys or copies of this, so you're in control of it, just like your own bank. You're in control of it. But it's a great place to start. And of course, you can do it with our link down below. And the app is available both on Android, Apple, all that available. So easy to jump in. Use our link for additional discount. All right, let's get into a couple of things. I want to open up the show today with a clip. And this is going to be talking about the expectations of merchants in reference to how blockchain is going to be used in the future. Listen in.
It's 99% Shopify, which I'm mostly happy with. But there's a lot of things that they need to change. When they say that they integrate with Solana, it kind of made me a little upset because they still charge a 2% merchant fee. And that all goes to Shopify. It doesn't go to Solana. So if you're going to adopt technology, I feel like you should fully adopt it, especially when they put marketing materials out saying that we accept Solana.
Right.
So like for me, it doesn't. My customers don't know what Solana is yet. So when they say, like, why would I pay for Solana on your website when I could just use my saved credit card? It doesn't make sense for them. But when I do pop-up shops or at the store, I'll give people like 10, 20% discounts if they use USDC.
Nice.
And I get it right away. Like right now, Shopify, if somebody buys something on my website or through my POS, it's a minimum of 4 days before that money hits my bank.
Right.
Whereas Solana Pay, I get it right away.
A lot of broken things. And I think this is also the old legacy processes of how retail is done in e-commerce, yet to truly adapt to what's going to happen in blockchain. Listen to what he thinks he's going to need in the future on this next clip.
So what would you guys love our devs to see to grow your business on Shopify or elsewhere?
I mean, I have a list of probably 50 features. So if anyone's
okay, well, we have time for 3.
So one thing that I would really love for devs to build is just rethink the vending machine business. For example, it's a 6% transaction fee for most vending machines. The second one is I really think we need a Shopify alternative. I brought up my beef with them with the 2%. Like, if you're going to adopt something, like, fully adopt it.
Don't become Blockbuster, right?
Do not become Blockbuster. Yeah, innovate or die.
All right, and the cool thing here is he's talking about vending. This was actually already done there at the event with Venta. We showed a little bit of this yesterday, but you can kind of see a little bit about how it's working there. It had the band. You had full integration into USDC. And I think this is one of the things that we're going to see more and more of, especially around retail in terms of integration into blockchain. Solana's leading the way there, I think, with a lot of the partners and announcements that they've talked about here. This is Venta and them kind of talking a little bit more about the whole the POS architecture. Listen in.
We've been working together, at least like these 3 teams, for probably the past 8 months now. Monstray and some of their NFC tech, their tap to pay, the Decaf team, which is like the best POS I've personally ever used. And we started talking, and we were like, why don't we just like offer an all-in-one payment solution? Every day, I buy coffee from the same shop, and we have like this little punch card. Yeah, and I think I have 1 punch because I forget every time. And it's like we could bake it in where I buy my coffee, I receive the CNFT for the loyalty program, and when I buy that 10th coffee without even knowing it's free, they know because they can check the wallet and translate it, and then the sale goes through.
People were asking us, well, what if I put money in this band, and then at the end of the event, I still have some money left? And we are like, well, you can actually off-ramp this money into fiat into euros by going to a MoneyGram location, and you can do that in the Decaf wallet or in Decaf Pay, that is the web version. So these merchants will be getting payments, international payments, but holding their payments in US dollars. which means that they are protecting themselves from devaluation and inflation of their local currencies. And this is super cool because, for example, as a merchant, you could be holding your value in US dollars, but then on the top of that, you can invest that money in a stable bond and then maybe be making 11% on that money. So instead of losing so much money, you are actually making more.
They're very slow to adopt, but once they do, it's like a tipping point. So definitely a big opportunity here. This was just showing their Venta POS right here in connection with what was going on, and then kind of talking a little bit about them, kind of setting almost these pop-up shops there within Amsterdam where Breakpoint is being held. So pretty cool stuff. I also want to get to a clip here on Metaplex. And Metaplex, if you're not aware of it, this is a compressed NFT architecture and why it's could be working so uniquely in the future. Listen in.
It shows us that we are going into a very unique opportunity of enterprise adoption of compressed NFTs. And with that in mind, I want to talk about one thing very particularly: fees. Blanket fees can disabuse builders from seeking enterprise growth. So I want to be very clear about this. There will continue to be no protocol minting fees on CNFTs moving forward from Metaplex. Have a great day.
All right, so that's a pretty, major statement in the sense that there won't be fees on compressed NFTs. Now, how long will they hold that? During the development stage, during the adoption phase? Sure, at some point there will be. But the point is that during these upswings of development, and these are the critical times, the fact that they're offering that is pretty cool. I want to go over to another component here, and this is talking about Tweed. Now, Tweed is essentially, think of it as a white label wallet, but it's for enterprise level, meaning the ability to use this in retail systems, all sorts of businesses within it. It has a lot of opportunity here to kind of integrate into various use cases as well. One of the use cases that is out there, of course, is Intel and what they've been doing around events. The key here is that they're starting to implement this kind of technology. The fact that they're doing this, pretty impressive. I want to go to a clip here to kind of explain it a little bit further. Listen in.
Yeah, so the way it'll work is every event invite will be an NFT, right? A compressed NFT, I'm hoping, on Solana. And then they'll be able to see all the events that they've attended, and then Intel will have sort of a two-way communication channel to build community around these different events that have occurred in the past and token gate future things, and there's a big roadmap there, right?
All of this kind of very seamless experience is going to be powered by Tweed, creating a wallet, allowing them to free mint, connecting anything on-chain to what they are seeing, and then eventually having their own kind of like My Account hub where they can view all their tickets, all their experiences, and kind of claim any loyalty aspect or any kind of utility that comes with it.
It's now live on multi-chain. So you've got Arbitrum AVAX also in this as a solution. But again, the challenge here for all of blockchain, I think in general, is going to be uptake. It's the uptake in sense of adoption. And when you look at what is going in around events, the other alternative is if a major, whether it's someone like Intel or if it's someone that is an artist that starts to integrate this type of direct to, fan engagement through events and through the blockchain, where we'll see uptake or adoption in a much faster manner. Because I don't think it's going to take as long to kind of go to the next level. But let's go over to this next clip. It kind of gets into SocialFi and how brands could potentially leverage this going forward. Listen in.
Why out of a sudden everyone is excited about social? Fintech managed to reach the critical mass. They generate more fees than Uniswap. That's crazy. A lot of builders actually kind of shy away from talking about speculation. Speculation plus utility could lead you to product market fit. A lot of apps actually put utility first, and then they couldn't get to the critical mass that they need for the app to grow and continue to be viable. And at Sleek, we think about this problem long and deep. We started with the Sleek card at the bottom layer. And the Sleek card has a very different value prop from all other NFC cards because we have a Telegram bot. And the bot actually helps users to network And without them knowing, it's forming a social graph, a proof of meet, right? You meet people in real life, and we actually can verify them on chain. And in the middle is a professional network where people can find each other, discover each other, and we think like, the financialization part could come together and help people to, discover new people through the, through the interest graph and through the in real life social graph. Thank you.
Whether it's social, and you look at maybe what Elon is doing with Twitter around what he wants to do in terms of payments and social graph, or what LinkedIn is doing around, more of the professional element that could apply to events and all that. There's just something here. So the opportunities are great. Sleek is one of the projects that was released here. This is a good example. We kind of created our own business card directly into building your own card. Obviously, this applies to the social component that she was talking about. And I think these are a great opportunity, but again, it gets back into the whole idea of, do we already have this? Are we going to see maybe some of the titans in the industry, whether it's a LinkedIn or a Twitter, start to integrate some of these technologies? That'll be the intriguing factor, because remember, they have a lot of the audience versus what we're going to need to see in SocialFi is adoption. So there's some curves here that do have to be addressed, but it's all for the good, I think, in terms of overall. Another topic that was at the event is a company called Captain, which won a big award on tamper-proof all around the payments track. Now, this company is getting into more online, we'll call it online ordering, blockchain ordering, in use case within the food service industry. So I want to go to this next clip, explain a little bit about what they're doing. Listen in.
So why am I qualified to talk to you about disrupting marketplaces? I started one of the earliest marketplaces, online marketplaces for food delivery back in 1997. We grew and grew and grew and ultimately got acquired by Grubhub, and I joined as a senior executive at Grubhub and really watched the space evolve as more folks got on the internet. And we all got greedy. We went from charging 5% for transaction fees. All of the marketplaces really made decisions that the customers were owned by them and not by the merchants themselves. And so now you'll see ordering is like 30% more expensive than if you just go in person. So this isn't unique to food delivery. This is really all marketplaces. We built a protocol. I applied it to Grizzlython. We came in first place, and it's called tamper-proof. And what tamper-proof allowed us to do was really embed a key code into an NFT and allow that NFT to be tradable. So only the user can go claim that code at the end by opening it up, thereby the rest of the world knowing that it's been seen. The first what was obvious for us was ticketing. So we built XP. We're coming out of private beta today. We're now publicly launched xp.xyz. We actually have over 10 million tickets available as of today, so that you can go see all your popular concerts in the US and Canada, where the transaction itself is a Metaplex auction house swap, but that's really hidden in the background. I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift. I listen to a lot of your favorite artist, and I've gone to a lot of their shows, and because of that, I demand value. I demand value from the performer, and this allows the next generation of online marketplaces to take form.
So is there ever some kind of friction between platforms like Ticketmaster where they don't really want like third parties basically preventing them from getting all those like crap fees?
There's already a robust $12 billion secondary market for ticket sales. We needed to really create that flywheel of consumer demand and ticket inventory. And there are a network of brokers today that are willing to sell tickets at much cheaper prices if they could find that demand.
All right, so the interesting thing about Captain is they're solving several problems out there. I don't know which one is bigger, but if you go to a supperclub.xyz, this was their platform for the challenge that he mentioned there is that we got greedy, meaning that the food industry, and still to this day, they're almost like data brokers or customer brokers, so to speak, whether you're on Uber Eats or Grubhub, any of those, they own that customer because they've gone out and done the marketing, they've acquired the customer through the app, and then they charge the retail merchant a fee. The idea is can you connect the customer to the retailer directly? And I think eventually, and what he's talking about here, is the ticketing side of this, which also is in that same bunch. This was a good example. This is one of his tweets right here. Upon arriving, we entered the food fight event. In-app, got Android dropped 2 drink tickets, promotional food coin. get a little food and a little soul in terms of the transaction. This was just showing the geolocation functionality of it. And in reality, this is very similar to, if you imagine Foursquare. I don't know if you guys remember what that was, but that was a location-based data system. They ended up actually becoming a data broker to a lot of companies of where phones were. And that's the whole point of tying into this. Now, if you apply in what's happening within the NFT space and loyalty, now you start to connect the dots. So it's kind of taking some of the old models across a lot of these in terms of merchant connectivity and just amping them up on the blockchain. So I think it's a very interesting potential and definitely one to be watching. The other platform he was talking about was XP.xyz. This is the events protocol. And he kind of talked to this point is that they still need Ticketmaster, but at the same time, this is a big market that eventually could see a direct-to-market opportunity, especially in the blockchain sector. So you can see all of the potential events. Enrique Iglesias, quite a few already tied into this. There's, of course, Bruce Springsteen, and so on. So the point is there's some opportunity here for events, especially around the idea of direct-to-fan, which is, in my opinion, one of the best opportunities in the market for sure. All right, so I want to get into another clip that goes further into events. This is tying a little bit of Taylor Swift in and what she's been doing that could pave the road for the future on events, and especially direct-to-fan. Listen in.
For anyone that's never been to like a music festival like that, but it's like everything happens on these wristbands. It was kind of like the inspiration here, where everything you're doing, you're tapping to pay, you sign in by tapping. I think it'd be awesome if that kind of stuff happens on chain.
But you were saying that you could really use some Web 2 awareness, right? Like if somebody like, I don't know, Taylor Swift decided to do her tickets through Solana Pay and USDC, that would help you out.
Yeah, I feel like it's just going to take one celebrity or singer like Taylor Swift to make it happen, and then everyone's going to know what USDC is. People are going to know what NFTs are. So I'm just hoping that she's listening.
Yeah, she's on the live stream. That's what I heard. Yeah,
nice.
I think Taylor is actually, I think she already has this in her bag. If you've seen the events at AMC, this is a good example. This was one of the concerts, well, one of the concert that was broadcast, went direct to fan, obviously through AMC theaters, and they did a great job in the sense of kind of cutting out the middleman. And that's the concepts, the principles of what Web3 is, and especially what the merchant was talking about there is that all it takes is one of those big ones. Well, yeah, I think if any of those kind of people like that would probably put Solana on the map in a big way in terms of adoption. I think it's going to take a few big brands, maybe a big artist to kind of get this rolling out. Obviously, remember, this is still a very small market, but we are seeing huge opportunities here in terms of the rails being set out in all these different possibilities in terms of merchant services and retail. Remember, Taylor Swift did agree to an FTX deal partnership, and that was done almost a year and a half ago. So she already is kind of in on this. And remember, the deal was valued at $100 million. So, and I know a lot of people will tell you, that, and there was many that said, Taylor would dodge the bullet here. Point was, is they were in talks. She sees the value of it. Fortunately for her, timing or otherwise, they avoided that. But the point is they were open to what is happening in crypto. And I think that's the biggest thing going forward. Don't forget, if you're looking at Solana's lock value, one of the things to be aware of is watching their revenue number, not the actual price of Solana. Well, sure, yes, but revenue versus fees. So there's a lot of variations here that you guys should be looking at. But you can check this out over on DeFi Llama. This just shows you the growth in terms of overall revenue on Solana. But if you look at like total value locked, you can kind of see that growing. And then fees right there also growing. But if you look at the volume, also growing. Price also growing. Anyway, you get the picture. Solana is right now on a tear for obvious reasons. A lot of new development. And I think the key here, when you look at new development, is going to be really two things. The first thing is this adoption curve that will have to take place in blockchain. And I think the second thing is being able to dumb this down for, retailers and businesses that have been using Web 2 for the last 3 decades. This is the next generation of technology adoption. All right, if you guys are not listening in or not joined in on the Diamond Circle, make sure and jump in on that. It's a very easy and simple place to join. You just click the link down below. We do additional content over there that does not make it here on the YouTube show. And it's a great place to kind of get involved in the community. If you guys want to catch me on X, it's @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.